Hi, this is Bonnie with TLC, and today we're going to use freestanding lace and create a doily. Now, obviously, you can select many different designs in freestanding lace and put them together as a doily. You can use squares, octagons, whatever you can find, and treat it like a jigsaw puzzle. But today I'm going to do one using a Paisley design, and I've got my hoop ready to go with a Vilene water-soluble stabilizer and my design loaded in my machine. So I'm ready to go, and I'm going to stitch out this freestanding lace Paisley design in my 4x4 hoop. So in my hoop I can just get one design in there at a time. Obviously, if you have a machine with a larger hoop, you can stitch more than one. And for this doily, we're going to need 7 Paisley designs stitched out. So I'm going to start stitching out my first one here. And again, I've used a Vilene water stabilizer, water-soluble stabilizer. Okay, so we're stitching that out, and it does take a while to stitch out 7 of these. So it's not a real speedy project. Now we've got our first one stitched out, 6 more to go. So I'm going to remove it from the hoop and stitch the rest of them. Cut them out, leaving a little bit of the stabilizer around the edge. Now you can choose to sew them with the stabilizer on the edge like this and overlap them a little bit. Might be easier for some people, but that's not the look that I want, so I'm going to go ahead and wash off my stabilizer in lukewarm water, and then I'm going to let them dry. Now, if you want these softer, you can use a little bit of water softener after you rinse them, and they will be a softer effect. So now, after they've dried, this is what my layout is going to be. This is the way I choose to lay out my design. So I've got 7 Paisleys, and I've lined them up in a pinwheel design. And you can see where they touch each other on the edges. And that's where we're going to stitch them together. It'll probably be about 1 inch of stitching right where the Paisley designs come together. So you can see how it's going to look when it's all done. So I'm going to take my first 2 Paisleys, and I'm going to line them up to right where they touch. I'm going to set my machine for a loose, wide zigzag, and I'm going to stitch that short little area where they come together. Make sure my Paisleys are lined up and that the points of them are also even and equal. Okay, so there's our first 3 stitched together, and you can see it's about 1 inch of stitching. If you're interested as to where I found the Paisley design, you can find that information below this video in the description. Okay, now we've continued to connect them and sew them together. We're getting ready here to complete the pinwheel design, stitching the last 2 together. And then we're going to want to secure the center. Now the way that I secure the center is I lay my center as flat as I can under my machine foot. And you can either use a straight stitch or a zigzag, and then gently sew around in a circle, 2 or 3 times, catching all the little points as much as possible. The idea is to just connect everything gently. And then after the circle, I'm going to stitch back and forth a few times from point to point. You can stitch in an X or from each point to the other point. You know, whatever kind of looks the best to you. I would caution not to overstitch so that you don't end up with a big mess of thread in the middle of your doily. So you know, want to keep your stitches kind of loose and wide and just kind of catch everything together in a neat fashion. And once you've done that, you have your doily. And this can be done with, you know, like I've mentioned before, with many different designs. So I hope you enjoyed our tutorial, and thanks for watching.